Tonight, on a late night edition of DNVR Buffs Live, our takeaways from tonight's open practice. And also, we are joined by Kahlil from Buffton Prime. So tap in. Should be a good one. Let's go.
Welcome into the Toyota Lounge, driven by your Front Range Toyota stores. Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR. It is DNVR Buffs Live After Dark. Welcome back, too.
Great to be back. It's been a hell of a last, I don't even know, 3 days. Feels like a week.
You left on Wednesday.
Yeah, that from Wednesday to now feels like it could have been at least a week, but more like 2. It's been a lot.
I mean, you practically haven't slept, it sounds like.
Got
stung by a bee.
Got stung by a bee. Still made a one-handed catch from Shedeur.
Yeah, crazy.
On the sideline. You know, it's been a ride. My shoulder hurts for some reason.
We're glad you made it, though.
I'm glad to be here. Also, the comments on us like we're late, as if there wasn't an open practice across town tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it went later than we thought it would, too. Like, there was just a lot going on. Coach Prime spoke after and all that, so.
Yep.
Let's get into it, though, man. We finally got to see this team live and in action for the first time ahead of the season. A few standouts. I think a few things we'd like to see better as well, but where do you want to start with this?
Man,
he's got notes, by the way, guys.
Oh yeah, it's Notepad RK tonight, and this time it's not like when we were at Big 12 Media Day and I wrote down four notes. I actually have 4 pages of notes today, so I was actually dialed. I think we just start with the standouts, and to me, the number one standout of the night was Taje McCoy.
100%.
And it's something we've talked about a lot on the show of if you are able to find someone that's already on the roster who can become a big-time player for you, it's found money.
Mm-hmm.
Because you went into this offseason thinking you had to fully figure out pass rush.
Yes.
Wasn't good enough last year, and even the guys that you did have left. You obviously... They had high hopes for Taje McCoy. We knew that going into the offseason. But they added a lot at the position, trying to make sure it's solidified. Then you goes out there tonight, and I'd have to, get the official numbers from Coach, but we have him somewhere at 4 or 5 sacks.
Yeah, and 3 of them came in like a 4-play sequence.
They were playing I think they're playing our show in the bar, which is very confusing.
Restarted.
Okay, yeah, we're starting from the top. Okay, anyways. Just going to try to not be distracted by myself during this.
Yeah.
But anyways, Taje was awesome. And
Yes.
And if he's special, now you have a dangerous pass rushing group.
I mean, he's been mentioned by a lot of people. The end of last year, of course, Nick Williams, JD mentioned him, but these are the exact players Coach Prime looks for. When you bring in all this competition, you rebuild the room, and then it's a returning guy who kind of just sticks to the process, keeps doing his thing, and just go out there, balls out, and basically says, you're going to have to play me pretty much. Like, that's what Taje McCoy, that's what his statement has been the last few weeks.
Yep, and I asked Coach Prime about him after, and he had nothing but great things to say about Taje. Said he's a yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am type of guy. A guy who always does what's asked of him, never gets in any trouble, is always on time. Just everything you want to hear about a player, he named it off about Taje McCoy.
Yep. He was a game wrecker. How about Will Sheppard, though? My goodness.
Will Sheppard showed me some things today.
Yes, he did.
And I'll let you go. I'll let you go. That's your your standout.
Because, look, all we've heard is he's been as advertised since he's shown up, right? And when we did stock up report, we didn't put him in there. But after tonight...
No, stock's up.
The stock is so far up.
And not just like fun, like Buffs this season stock, like NFL stock.
It's exactly what we talked about when he committed here. It was like, this is going to be the best quarterback he's ever played with. He's not going to have to twist all the way around and make one-handed grabs and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, the ball is just on target. He's able to make plays, and it's deep, it's intermediate. Like, it's all over the field.
Well, and he had a catch that unfortunately didn't end up counting because of a illegal man downfield, which is a weird penalty to get on that play. But Shedeur throws him, I think it was like a slot fade, maybe even more of like an out and up style throw. Shedeur threw it, and when it left his hands, I thought, oh, he overthrew him just a little bit.
Yeah.
And Will went up, plucked it. I can't remember who the DB was, right on his head. And, it's probably the loudest ovation the crowd got all day. And then, of course, you look back and there's a flag. And that goes to, I guess that opens up a larger discussion. But let's bring our guy T-Cal on.
Yeah, let's do
it. Get some of his thoughts here. Got your chair set up for you, man.
You guys are fancy. We don't got these type of mics.
Yeah.
I like these.
If you don't know T-Cal, he's been doing some awesome Buffs breakdowns on Buffed Prime YouTube. So, man, it's great to have you here in Denver.
Yeah, man, it's great to be here. Have fun watching the practice. That's you can only see so much from the YouTube videos we get to watch and get access to. So being able to see everybody and see the full field was awesome.
Pull that mic nice and close to you.
Okay, really like this.
Get personal with it.
Who stood out to you today? We already talked about Taje and Will. If you want to throw anything else on them, go ahead. But
let me get my notes out.
Let's go. I went old school, Yeah, Jake was actually giving me shit when we were
little high tech with it, man. And Will definitely did. Like, Will impressed me. We broke down his film at Vanderbilt. They did not have him going vertical a lot. I didn't think he was capable of going vertical like that. He was separating downfield like a true deep threat, where I thought he was, more of a big body, just contested catch. But no, he can actually run by some people. Some of the other guys that impressed me, the entire secondary, really, really good. They played a lot of man coverage press, and it was blanket coverage. That's what we call it, where nobody could get free.
Yep.
And that was something I was concerned about this offseason. I kept saying, I want to be in a situation where we can go zero coverage, meaning no safety, and know that we're not going to get beat deep. It looked like that today. Colton Hood, DJ McKinney, Preston Hodge, Cam coming down. They really impressed me offensively.
On that really quick, Buffs fans will love to hear this. DJ McKinney had a rep. He was lined up against Omarion Miller.
Yep.
Man coverage across the board. And Omarion runs a drag, a route that we hated to see last year.
Yep.
And DJ was in his hip pocket all the way across the field. And, the ball ended up going to Omarion, and it was just like an easy pass breakup, reach right in there, but just completely in his pocket from one sideline to the other.
It looks so much different than what I saw last year from the secondary. Like, I really think there's guys that can compete. Like, every single play, get up there and compete. D-line, Sam Okunlola, I don't think any of us really know how good he is, but we're going to see it soon. He's really, really good.
Talk a little bit more about that, because you definitely saw something that I didn't. Which is great, because we had kind of three perspectives of it.
And nobody might see it. I completely understand why they don't show a lot of Sam's one-on-ones during practice, and they just show the reaction. He had a play where he left a lineman completely standing still in one-on-ones. Like, he's just very polished as a pass rusher, and he's going to make a lot of plays. I have him having double-digit sacks. I don't think he'll be at Colorado next year. I think he'll be playing on Sundays. Like, he's a very, very special player.
If that happens, because we just got done talking about Taje McCoy and what just him being a guy could mean for this team. But if you've got a 10-sack guy on one side, and then you've got a combination of Taje, BJ Green, Arden Walker. I mean, this team is going to win a lot of games.
Absolutely.
And,
I agree.
And that's another standout, too. The pass rush. I mean, I completely get what Uncle Neely's been saying in terms of the defense has been dominating constantly because, man, they were after every quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked really good. Some of the freshmen that stood out. Brandon Hood looked good.
Yep.
He looked good. He looks a lot better movement-wise than he did senior year, coming back from that injury. Really like seeing him. Love seeing all the running backs. Dallin, Isaiah, Charlie. They didn't get a ton of runs today, but they all looked efficient when they got it. And Caleb Mathis surprised me. He is quick, twitchy in the slot. Like, his routes are really, really nice, and he got a lot of reps there today. So I feel great, man. Like, this was a successful trip for me. I feel really good.
Oh, yeah.
Love it, man. Glad you're out here.
Yeah, it's fun.
Jake, anything else? Any other standouts that you wanted to point out?
Terrell Timmons.
Yeah, good one.
Terrell Timmons has been balling. We were talking about him a lot recently, just working with the ones. On Tuesday when we went up to Boulder and we did the who's the top 6 thing, we figured Terrell was in there. But he is going to be a legitimate weapon with this team as well.
Yeah, I mean, he does a lot of like little things really well. Body control, late hands, just all of the things that I think a quarterback like Shedeur will end up really valuing in his wide receivers. This group has so much talent. And they've got guys who can jump out of the gym, and they've got guys who, are unbelievable hands. But Shedeur talks so much of like, I just need you to be in the right spot at the right time. And Caleb, it's another thing that Caleb Mathis does really well, is why he got reps last year. And like, from what I've seen from Terrell, it feels like he's mastering that part of it, and that will get him catches in this offense.
And another thing we talked about earlier, his catch radius.
Yep.
Like, he has long arms, and you want a good catch radius from, a guy you're going to be depending on. And what catch radius is, it's where a quarterback can put the ball and you get to it. Like, having those long arms, being able to reach out. Will Sheppard has a great catch radius as well. I don't know if we really had that last year in the receiver room as much.
Yeah.
Xavier Weaver didn't have like an overly impressive catch radius. Jimmy, Travis, obviously.
Way to get overly in there.
But yeah, so I think that's another, added thing is Shedeur being able to have more safety blankets in the pass game.
There was one play tonight. It was just a little RPO slant to Timmons, but Shedeur ripped it. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was going to hit him in the face mask. And he got his hands up at the last second and completely clean catch.
Yeah, yes. I saw that one.
He's got like pluck in his hands.
Yeah. It was beautiful. Oh, and I apologize. I forgot to mention Jimmy Horn. He had what I thought was the best catch today. Down the field. He looks completely different than he did last season as far as his twitchiness, his speed, his route running. He's really impressing me.
What happened on that catch? Because that was on our sideline, so we didn't see it. It disappeared behind the team. Gosh.
It was like a diving over-the-shoulder catch, and Savion Riley was right there, and Shedeur put it in the air. It was probably 55 yards in the air, and Jimmy went and tracked it down. It was kind of similar to Travis Hunter's catch against Washington State, when he had to make that adjustment and he came down with it. It was a really impressive catch right up the seam. Loved it.
All right, let's hit a break. The chat's talking about a lot. We got to get to running back. There's a lot more to get to.
Yeah, and I think there's a couple things that were a little bit concerning tonight.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to our friends over at Mint Mobile. Finding a good cell phone plan can be a headache. And getting slammed with hidden fees is never fun. No one likes that. So hit up our friends over at Mint Mobile if you're looking for a new wireless plan. You can get a new 3-month premium wireless plan for just $15 a month over at mintmobile.com/buffs. It's mintmobile.com/buffs to cut your wireless bill to $15 a month with Mint Mobile. $45 upfront payment required. That's equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speeds slower, above 40 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, restrictions apply. See mintmobile.com for details. True Fan Travel.
Shout out to True Fan Travel. They're putting on all of our road games this year. And the big one is Nebraska. You can still get ticket and tailgate packages for the Nebraska game through us, through True Fan Travel. These guys are awesome. We'll be hanging out at the Scarlet Hotel in Lincoln. Thanks to them. They're just, they do it all. So they make it easy for you. You pay one price. You've got your hotel booked. You've got your ticket to the game. You've got the tailgate set up. We love our friends over at True Fan Travel. So check them out. TrueFanTravel.com/DNVR.
/trips to
There
book
you
your
go.
spot today.
Couple things really quick. One, shout out to our guys. We got some Fairview Knights in the building over here in Buffs.
Yeah, what's up, y'all?
Thank you guys. And then before we get into some of the things that I didn't love to see, I think it's important to lay out what this practice really was. This was for the fans.
Yes.
This was a show that was put on for the fans. Really cool to come down to Denver and do it. Something I've never seen the Buffs do. But there's a reason why most teams in the country aren't having a public practice for everyone to see 13 days before their first game. And that's because everything that you show is going to be studied.
Yep.
And if you don't think that North Dakota State had someone there watching tonight taking notes, probably even better than mine.
There's a guy in a Nebraska hat.
There was a guy in a Nebraska hat. I felt like he wanted me to acknowledge him. He made eye contact with me very directly, and I was like, I'm not gonna give you the satisfaction of me saying something to you. But because of that, they had to take incredible precaution about what they were doing out there. And from what I heard from talking to people, they took it to extreme levels, which is even better. But that also means you're not showing any formations that you want to run week one. You're not showing any sort of your creative runs that you've drawn up all year. They weren't using signals that they're going to use on Thursday night. So everything that they did, they almost invented an offense and a signal package and all of that just for this, which is cool that they did that for the fans. But you have to keep that in mind when we get into some of the things that we didn't like about the practice.
Well, and also I think an aspect of this that we have to consider too is they're used to being done practicing by 10:30, 11 a.m.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get you have to do that for a game, but to go all the way down to Denver, and you're still practicing, you know what I mean? There's not the juice that there is with a game.
Different atmosphere.
Yeah, so I think we have to consider that as well.
And that's where I'll start. Is I didn't love the energy.
Yes.
You kind of hoped that under the lights, fans out there, music blaring, that they would just come out like it was a game. And I remember covering a Broncos 49ers joint practice a few years ago. The Broncos came out kind of like the Buffs did tonight, which was just oh, this is just another practice. 49ers came out like it was a game, and they kicked the Broncos' ass in that practice. And it's just the energy that you bring to a practice like this is going to completely dictate the way it looks out there. I was hoping just game vibes were out there. We didn't get that. So that was a little bit disappointing to me. I also think it's understandable for these guys of all the reasons you mentioned, but also we're in the dog days of camp.
Yep.
Yeah,
You've been playing the same guy every single day lined up across from you. It's tough. And it's why Coach Prime wanted to do this in the first place, was just to give them something to break it up. But I wanted to see a little more energy.
Yep. Let's go to the running back thing then, because that's what everyone's asking about.
What is the running back thing?
They want to know who looked good, what the running back deal is. Is Charlie still running with the ones? First off, Charlie got a lot of run with the ones tonight. A lot.
The most.
Yeah. And it wasn't even close, really.
I saw a lot from Dallin. I saw Dallin with the ones a good amount, but other than that, nobody else was with the ones.
Yep.
Yeah, if I had to guess, it was 60% Charlie, and then 30% Dallin, and then I think they just mixed some of the other guys in there
I think
too.
I might have seen
Yeah.
Welch get a couple reps with the ones.
I thought Down looked good in his limited attempts. I thought Isaiah looked really good, though, tonight. Isaiah Augustave. You were mentioning Brandon Hood. Brandon Hood.
Brandon Hood. Yeah, now that I'm thinking back, I don't remember Micah getting too many touches, overall during the practice.
I didn't think so either. He had one right in front of us down on the sideline where he ran to the sideline and Cam went to tackle him, and Micah got a nasty stiff arm on Cam.
Yeah.
But the Charlie thing, I think, was explained perfectly by Coach Prime when he was asked about him after practice, which was, what are you seeing from Charlie or something was the question. And he said he's a pillar of consistency.
Yep.
And he said no matter what you're asking him to do, whether it's pass block, go run a route, or hit the hole, he does it the way that it's coached, and he does it right every time. And there's so much talent in that room. And obviously, you've got Dallin Hayden coming from Ohio State. We're super excited about Micah. You can go on through. But I think the reason that Charlie's in this position right now, and I still believe will be in that position come next Thursday night, is because they just know he's not going to mess anything up.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And that won't last forever, right? Mm-hmm. And you hope that those other guys get to the point where they're not messing anything up either. But if it's, third down and you just need to make sure that they're going to pick up the pass protection and you just trust him to do it the most, like, that's the guy who's going to be out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, that dependability is definitely important. I think Dallin is probably going to start week 1. Just the way he runs. He had a couple runs tonight. He never goes down on first contact, ever. And when we watch this film, even when he's hit, the ball's going to end up 4 yards from where he was hit. Like, he always falls forward. And that's something that I talked about with my partner, CT the Fan. I'm not sure if you guys know, but how many first down runs last year ended up being a first down?
I would guess less than 5.
And that's terrible when you're trying to win, not being able to. So, when I was looking at Dallin's film, even 5-yard runs, on a first down, getting a second 5 is important. Going from 2nd and 7 to 3rd and 2 is important, where, CU, a lot of times it was 2nd and 14. We can't get behind the sticks like that. So I think everyone in the running back room could start on an FBS team. Mm-hmm. All of them could be starters right now, which is a good thing. It's a very deep room, very talented room. And like you said, RK, it probably won't be decided week 1 either way.
No.
Going into the year, whoever starts to separate and gets the hot hand, that's when we'll start seeing it play out more. Right now it's just seeing who can get the hot hand and take it.
The offensive line, the chat, and a lot of people have obviously noticed Kahlil Benson's been out recently with a little bit of an injury. 55, Kareem Harden starting or playing with the ones at right guard. Tyler's still at right tackle, pretty much status quo. Seaton, Justin, Hank on the offensive line. But as we mentioned, it was all about the edge rushers and the defense. Every team on offense, the offensive line just struggled to block.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the last remaining elephant in the room here is the offensive line didn't look good today. Mm-hmm. There was penalties, there was free rushers, there was moments that gave me PTSD of Shedeur catching the ball on a snap and having to run immediately.
Literally the same thing. He's doing the reverse twirl thing behind the 15 yards behind the backfield.
Yeah, so that's not great. Obviously they're down a man, but it didn't inspire a ton of confidence the way they looked out there.
Yeah, and something that a little disappointing to me is I think it might have been last scrimmage, or no, not last scrimmage, that edited play that Shedeur threw that touchdown.
Starts only.
I loved it because he started to panic when he stepped up, and then he was like, hey, I actually have a line. I can sit here in the pocket, I can climb the pocket, and I can make this throw, which he wasn't able to do last year because he was getting rushed everywhere. Today, I saw him step up with that same confidence, but unfortunately, the line wasn't reciprocating what he had seen before. And mentally, quarterbacks have a time clock. So the more they're getting pressure on them, the more that clock is going off. And I want him to be comfortable to where he has a more extended clock. So he's not stepping up and constantly okay, now I have to scramble, now I have to panic. The line was not what we wanted to see 2 weeks from game 1. But we got Tyler Brown just now playing right tackle. That's not his position. Guard and tackle are completely different positions. So there's a learning curve there. Then we have a true freshman left tackle who is going to be growing pains for any true freshman left tackle. So I'm not discouraged, but I was a little bit disappointed today.
I mean, all that being said, I thought they actually ran the ball pretty well, though.
Yes.
So I think they're still – and we saw Jordan, Justin, and I think Tyler Brown working with the threes, too. So they're still mixing and matching.
They had a ton of reps today.
Yeah, so they're trying to get guys a lot of work all over the field, but the running game did look much better.
And you asked Coach Prime about Tyler playing right tackle, and in his answer, he essentially said, we're just trying everything.
Yes.
And we do a lot of things to make sure that we have a plan in place in case of this or in case of that. So I thought that was interesting. Just because I was kind of of the belief that that's going to be permanent, but maybe not. We'll see as Kahlil gets back.
Yep. Anything else, I guess, concern-wise before we dig a little deeper and really empty the bag here?
I don't think so. I think those were the two main things. A little flat.
Oh, I've got something. Behind Shedeur, the quarterbacks are kind of rough.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a big drop-off from him, but I don't know. I think Staub would be okay if he had to go in.
Yeah, I saw some missed throws. What I was surprised at is all of the quarterbacks can run.
Yeah.
Even Staub. Like,
yeah.
They can. Ponder looks really smooth when he runs. Destin Wade is a lot faster than what I thought. And I think they're going to improve. It's a new offense for them as well. Yeah. They're just now, because everybody's new other than Staub, so they're just now getting used to these receivers, their speeds. So as the reps come, I think they'll be good. But, yeah, I feel more confident about it than I did before. It was little things I think that they can clean up. But being able to see that we have dual threats all up and down, that was – because I watched them all run read option today. So that was good to see.
Yep. All right, let's take a break and shout out our friends over at Game Time. Shout out to Game Time. Look, the Buffs are going to be the hottest ticket in sports this year. We have multiple games already sold out. Road games are going to be pretty much sold out too. You've seen the prices for the CSU games. So hit up our friends over at Game Time. Use that promo code BUFFS, BUFFS, when you sign up, and you get $20 off your first purchase. But not just game tickets. I mean, concert tickets, anything else going on in your city that you need a ticket to. Hit up our friends over at Game Time. Again, download the Game Time app, create an account. Use that promo code BUFFS, BUFFS, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. And then Circa Sportsbook.
Shout out Circa Sportsbook. One of the last remaining places that actually use humans to make their lines, which is great because it gives you better deals, especially if you're betting on, long season things or golf tournaments, things with long odds. You're always going to get better odds over at Circa Sportsbook. On the same point, you don't get all of the, the gimmicks and the promos and that sort of thing. But if you're someone who likes to bet a lot, over the course of a year, you will end up winning more money off of your wins by betting over at Circa Sportsbook. So download the Circa Sports Colorado app today at circasports.com.
Circa Sports bets can only be made while physically located in the state of Colorado. You must be 21 or older. All rights reserved. Circa Sports Colorado encourages you to gamble responsibly. If you have a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER or visit problemgamblingcolorado.org.
And also, I just want to mention, it's not that it was all bad from the offensive line. We saw some good things. There were some good reps. Jordan Seaton had some good reps. Thought Justin Mayers had some good reps. But at the same time, that's the conversation. That's anyone that went there tonight left there with some questions about the offensive line, so we're not going to sit here and not talk about it.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
I was trying to find something that I had in here about the combo block that Hank Zielinskis and Justin Mayers had, but I don't know where I put it.
Well, keep looking.
It was great.
I want to mention Arden Walker again because he had at least a couple sacks. You mentioned Sammy Sacks, and we already talked about Taje McCoy, but that's just another guy. I mean, we're 5'6" deep.
Samuel Sacks is what his family calls him.
Sammy Sacks. But we're 6 deep in that edge room. It's crazy. They're going to be attacking quarterbacks all year.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm impressed with the D-line coaching, specifically Nikhil Webb-Walker. We did 2 breakdowns on him, and we actually had him on our show. I talked to him a decent amount. Big fan of his. Incredible just talent, but isn't the most polished as a pass rusher. Tonight, I was seeing him implement moves I've never seen him do, and moves that I'm constantly hearing the D-line coaches say over and over. Sapp, Lewis, using his hands well. I think the entire D-line is getting better at using their hands, and it's good to see, one, coaches coaching, and then players being receptive and soaking up that coaching. So I think that was a good positive.
Well, and you mentioned Shane Coates downstairs. What did you see from him tonight?
Man, I think people have a very misconceived notion about Shane. Shane can ball. We showed in the breakdown. He played out of position a lot last year. North Dakota State, specifically coming from the Wyoming coach, they run a lot of zone and stretch, which is fast flow type plays. Shane has dominated that in camp, and I saw it again today. He constantly beats the cutoff block, and I'm telling you right now, Shane is going to make plays week 1. I expect him to be starting week 1 because I think he fits that scheme so well, and he's going to make a lot of plays. And please come back to me. Just like Coach Prime, I keep receipts, so if I'm wrong, please let me know. Shane's going to ball.
I mean, he was starting tonight.
Yep.
So,
yeah, what was that starting defense?
yeah, I mean, it was Sammy Sachs, Block Bully, Shane Cokes, Deion Hayes, Levante Bentley, Trevor Woods, DJ McKinney, Shiloh, Cam, Preston, and Colton Hood.
Yep. So, yeah, no, we didn't even mention no Travis tonight.
Yep.
No Travis tonight, much to the dismay of one NFL executive that I talked to.
And there were a few there.
There were actual NFL executives there, not just scouts.
Yeah, legit. I thought Trevor played pretty well, especially early on. He had that near interception. It was like the first 5 plays or something.
Yeah.
I mean, he's gonna surprise a lot of people, and it totally makes sense that he's been just ball hawking in camp so far.
Yeah, and I said that about Trevor from the start. Being somebody that I played at nickel and dime packages, I was the linebacker. If you have a high football IQ and you know how to play fast, not meaning you are fast, but that you're not thinking as much and you can trigger, the size doesn't matter. And that's what we're going to see from Trevor. That's what people are seeing from Trevor now. When you understand the concepts, when you can be a step ahead, you can get in position so you don't have to get touched by those linemen. But I just saw Trevor the other day in practice, like really grab up a lineman and throw him off, a good shock and shed. But I was never worried about his size. He's a football player, man. Yep. Like he's a football player through and through. You can put him at any position. He's somebody that, 1, could not be ran off, and 2, you got to find a place for him. I don't care who you bring in. He needs to be on that field because he's a winner. So yeah, I'm a huge, huge Trevor Woods fan.
I love it.
What else do you got?
Assad Wasim.
Yeah.
Starting punt returner tonight.
Mm-hmm.
That was exciting.
Yep. Took every punt return rep, I think, right?
Yep. And that's one that we definitely haven't mentioned in terms of, as we're going through who it could be. We know that LeJohntay is an all-conference player at that position.
Yep.
But kind of interesting and exciting to see Assad Wasim get an opportunity there.
I don't want LeJohntay getting touched.
And that was the conversation we had on the sidelines. Is like sometimes you just become too valuable at your actual position to be a returner.
Keep him away, please.
Then Jimmy returning kicks. We saw that in the spring game. So,
and we saw it in the Utah game where he almost housed one, and then I think didn't he get another, but it got called back.
I think that was Dylan.
Oh, okay.
And I saw Dallin back there with him as the secondary returner. That was a surprise to me. But I always say you prefer now, not so much in the NFL because the new kick return rules, but you prefer running backs or bigger bodies back there because those hits can be vicious with linebackers running 50 yards unimpeded coming to make a hit. I
think we might actually just quick sidebar see more running backs do it now in the NFL because you're going to have to break tackles to break the returns.
Yeah, I agree.
A guy that we talked about yesterday because he just got the gray jersey, Isaiah Harge, was on both second teams.
Yes.
So he was basically kind of doing what Travis does.
Play every play.
Yeah, but with the second team, not the first team.
Yeah. Great for him, man. I also had down here, wanted to mention Kahlil Green because not a lot of people have talked about him. There hasn't been a lot of buzz around him, but he had a great pass breakup on what would have been a touchdown early in the practice. Shedeur had a little RPO. The backside slant came open, and Nakai last second reached his hand in there and broke it up. Really nice play from him. Also, speaking of, did you guys watch the Ray Lewis speech to the team?
I did not.
Most of it, not all of it.
Oh my God, that was incrable. But Nakai, at the end of it, Coach Prime gave the linebackers a couple chances to ask questions, and he asked a great question. I can't remember which one, but there was one of the questions was, how did you watch film? And I think that's what it was from Nakai. Is what did you what did you first look for when you watched film? It was just the whole thing was amazing to me. I loved it.
Yeah, Neely spoke a lot about it on the show yesterday. Just saying that everyone was super hyped by it. All right, going through the roster here, other guys that stood out.
I have another one.
Yeah, go for it, man.
Colton Hood is a true lockdown corner. Like, not just like an okay corner, like a true technician lockdown corner. Like, he is going to ball. I didn't buy too much into the hype before, and I told him that when we had him on our show, because, it's just a couple practice clips that I had seen, but being able to he had a bunch of one-on-ones that he showed, and then seeing him cover Travis. He's covering Travis the majority of the time.
Yeah.
And it's in his hip pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Even the times anytime you've seen Colton get scored on, he was in a position where he could touch the ball. And that's really good to see. He's really technically sound. I think Coach Mathis is doing a great job with those guys. I'm seeing Travis get better in press technique as far as staying square in press instead of what we call opening the gate.
Yep.
And I'm just impressed with the secondary, man. I think we have some dogs in that secondary.
Man, you pair that with these edge rushers, and good luck out
Match
there.
made in heaven.
By the way, the chat corrected me. It was JB who asked the film question to Ray Lewis. What did Nakai ask? I remember feeling I liked it. Speaking of the secondary, though, I really liked what I saw from DJ McKinney tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We talked about the drag that he covered, but he also had an interception on a free play, so obviously that gets called back, but still tracking the ball, going after it. The secondary is exciting.
Yeah, it is. And I agree with you on DJ. DJ, technically, he's gotten better, and I think he's getting more confident as well. I really like seeing him. He had a few balls caught on him. I'm a former DB. I don't care about that. As long as you're in the right position, that's what matters most. You'll win more than you lose.
Yep.
And he impressed me a ton as well.
Yep. And we have to just keep remembering that Travis isn't out there.
Yeah.
And to be honest,
Dude, that changes things so much.
it is wild how much it affects things not having Travis out there. It's just when you see him on the field, on offense, we'll say, to start, all of the attention has to go that way. And so then everyone's job becomes so much easier. We talked last week about how Jimmy Horn could have a big season just based on the fact that, they're going to have to pick someone that they're not going to be able to pay as much attention to, and that might be Jimmy Horn just destroying teams.
Yep.
But it's like, as soon as you take Travis out, well, then everyone's job gets a little bit harder. But there's something about it. It's really apparent, especially when you're down on the field and he's not out there. You're like, it feels so much easier for the defense. And the other side is true as well. When he's playing corner, you just can't look over there.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't even matter what route combination you have. You're gonna be afraid that he's gonna know it more than your own wide receivers know it.
Yeah, and I think that might have been, now that you mentioned that, the most impressive part. I loved watching the secondary, in arguably the best corner in college football wasn't even playing.
Yes.
That is really good to see. Especially, you don't want to run Travis too much. If he needs a break, you want to be able to say, okay, we're good here. We don't have to panic because he's not on the field for this play or that play. And I know it's the same on offense. We have receivers galore, but I don't think, personally, I didn't feel as comfortable with the secondary until really being able to see them. Both sides, Travis can play at his leisure.
Yep. And for what it's worth, Coach Prime after the practice said Travis is perfectly fine. This was all kind of precautionary, wear and tear of camp. We're, 16 days in, whatever it is, we're in the dog days, man. Mm-hmm. So, it's about that time that we start thinking about, how do we try and limit Travis where we can to make sure he's as fresh as he can be to do what he does in the early part of the season.
Absolutely.
Running through the roster here at Carter Stoutmire. He looked like he was playing cornerback. And we heard all about his move to safety, but he's been playing cornerback. Did you notice anything from Carter tonight?
Carter's a really good cornerback. I think people overemphasized the Stanford game last year.
Yes, 100%.
And even in that game, watching the All-22, he was not getting beat badly. The things that were happening are easily coachable. Versus there's some guys, and I say this all the time, I can coach the finish, but I don't want to have to coach the start, the middle. I can help you finish better. But
right.
He has the skill set that you want to see from a corner. Some people are worried about his size. Patrick Peterson played at 225.
Yeah.
There's bigger corners that can still run. I think he looked really good. I've been seeing him get breakups against Will Sheppard, and Will Sheppard winning against him as well. But he's competing, and I think he can help the defense anywhere in that secondary.
For sure.
I'm trying to send a clip to Alyssa.
Yeah,
so
I see
bear
what
with
you're
me.
doing. Who else do we got? Did you see your guy Ian Massey out there at all?
Yes, I did. So I saw Ian for a good amount of reps. If you watch him and you know DBs really well, he's so efficient in his movements, and he just moves different. Now, the thing at safety is, I had played it, and you can do your job 100% right and not be seen. Because if you're really doing your job, the quarterback's going to look away instantly. So you're not going to be able to pop on film, but you're doing your job. So what I was seeing from him, one, he's a really rangy safety. He looked really good in and out of his breaks. And it's just tough with limited reps to be able to show what you really have. But I can see maybe midpoint of the season him continuing to impress the staff and make his way into that rotation, because he can play football very well.
Love it. I saw the chat ask about Tyler Johnson earlier. Does anyone have any Tyler Johnson takeaways? Because honestly, I didn't catch much from him.
I saw him look really good.
Okay.
And he's been looking really good in one-on-ones, dominant in one-on-ones. I know he was dealing with, an injury this spring.
Yep.
Seems like he's starting to get back into the roll of things. I think he's a really, really good guard, and really hope that he can crack that starting lineup soon.
Yeah, I'm interested in Tyler Johnson. I find it to be notable that he didn't get the call to right guard with Kahlil Benson being out.
Yep.
And I don't know why.
Me either.
I don't know. Kareem has been there quite a long time, though, at this point, though.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that plays into it or not. Jordan Onovu working with the ones as well.
I saw that. I did see that.
Yeah, it felt like they had, probably 8 wide receivers deep rotating in with the ones. Maybe even more, 10.
And that's without Travis.
Yeah. Goodness. Alyssa, I sent a clip into Buffs assignments. We do have the highlight of the night available to us.
The catch
Love
of
to
the
see
night.
Okay, yeah, no problem. I did find, so it was Hank Salincius, Justin Myers combined on a block. They sprung Dallin for 14, and that was a great run from Dallin. This is one you're talking about. And it's like, if you can get him ahead of steam, then that 4 yards that you're talking about can turn into like 6, 7, 8 yards, because he just starts bowling through.
And contrary to popular belief, his line at Ohio State was terrible. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, well, he was at Ohio State. No, he was getting hit in the backfield a considerable amount of time and still able to break tackles on first contact and run through contact. So, yeah, like you said, if he gets ahead of steam and can get to the second level untouched, he's not going to be fun to bring down at all.
It's crazy to even think about this, but if they were able to win a game off just running the ball this year, it would go so far.
Yeah.
And the best one to do it would be week 1.
Absolutely.
Like, if you could go out there and run for 230 yards against North Dakota State, it will change the way that your team is viewed completely, and the way that teams have to prepare for you.
Everyone on your schedule on notice if you do that immediately.
Well, you change the way you change your defense, because now your defense isn't having to go on the field as quick if you get 3 incompletions. When I played, one of the worst things I could hear was punt alert. And that happens on third down. You hear punt alert. You're like, we just came off the field. Now we have to go back. So it helps to be able to give your defense a rest. And then it helps Shedeur in the passing game. A lot of people don't understand that. They say Coach Prime and Shedeur don't want to run the ball. That only helps the quarterback. If you look at the top quarterback, Penix and Bo Nix had a 1,000-yard rusher. It helps open up the passing game. It helps defenses come down. And I'll tell you this. North Dakota State is terrible against play action, like really bad at playing play action. For those that know, I've watched unlimited film on North Dakota State. Like, I have done very deep dives on North Dakota State, and they struggle against play action. And when you can effectively run the ball, then you can do that. Coach Prime said last year, people asked, why don't you do play action? Why am I going to fake the run if you know we can't run the ball?
Right.
Like that's going to benefit nobody.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think it'll help tremendously.
Yeah, and anyone who says that they just want to pad Shedeur's stats and they don't want to run the ball on this side or the other just didn't watch any Jackson State.
Yeah.
Because they were good at running it and they ran the hell out of it.
Yep.
I'm good on that clip if you want it.
All right, here we go. Highlight of the night here. Let's tap in and see what happened.
Check it out.
Shedeur throws it. Oh, who's that with the one-handed, left-handed catch?
Loved it.
Wait, can we run that back just one more time? Shout out to Cooper Hearn who got this this highlight of me.
Man.
How about
Shout out
Corey
Cooper.
getting
Yeah,
up, man?
yeah, Coach-
He was in front of us, but holy cow, does he get up here?
Yeah, Corey Phillips went way up, got a hand on it. I made the play. And, you know, a lot of people were mentioning that is the same hand that got stung by a bee just minutes before.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
What a guy. How does he do it?
Shedeur 1-for-1 when targeting me.
Yep. Coach Prum's press conference is up on our YouTube channel. Go check it out. He said they're cool with CBS, amongst a lot of other notable things.
It was the most football I've ever heard
Easily.
talked in a Coach Prime press conference. Obviously, that has nothing to do with him. Just people were actually asking football questions.
It's amazing. What a revelation.
Awesome.
All right. Anything else before we get to questions?
I don't think so. You want to hang around for questions, T-Cal?
You know,
Nothing else to do.
He's got some, so yeah.
All right.
The people want to talk to him. Who's
do
up
it.
first? To the Toyota chat we go. Oh my gosh, a lot of super chats. Cameron asked, as deep as the wide receiver group is, possibly a chance that Travis being primarily a cornerback also could keep him healthy. That's not happening. It's just not happening.
Does anyone want to expand?
No. No.
And honestly, I think now that we're getting there, you know, everything you said about Colton Hood, we're at that same position. Maybe not quite the same position in terms of the numbers, but
Close.
you've got three guys that you trust outside of Travis at corner.
But he's still your best one.
Yeah, he's still and he's also still your best wide receiver
Yep.
by a considerable margin in both, I think.
LeJounte is kind of
He is.
He's special. He's
That's
special.
Kind of a bit of a quiet night from him tonight, though, huh? He had
Yeah.
a few plays, but
He
Yeah,
did
he
get
was
a
open a lot.
touchdown on just a little bubble late.
it wasn't like the spring game, though, where it was like, oh my
No.
God. Like,
And also Preston Hodge he's one of my top 10 corners in college football.
Love that.
Like he's that good. And I've been trying to force myself not to put him in from all the guys that I've watched. He's better than almost anybody you can insert in college. He's really, really good. He's going to surprise a lot of people as well.
Alley3 asks, what do you think needs to improve for us, not just to win, but dominate each game, especially NDSU?
Go ahead.
So one for North Dakota State, have to be able to stop the run. Something from last year that needs to be improved is being able to start fast. That's one of the keys to being in North Dakota State, starting fast. If you get 2 stops on North Dakota State, you kick the ball off, you go up 14-0, and you know you're getting a possession at halftime. That's going to cause North Dakota State to do what they don't want to do, and that's pass the ball.
Yep.
They do not want to have to push the ball downfield. They don't want to have to throw outside of the numbers. So doing those things will be really imperative in doing that. And outside of TCU, I don't really remember a game where we started fast on offense last year. So that's going to be a huge key. And then something else we have to improve on in the run game is, one, discipline with the read option, because both of those quarterbacks for North Dakota State can run, especially number 9, I think Cole Payton.
Yep.
And so that's going to be big. And then against those zones and stretches that they like to run, we have to have guys that are fast, especially the D tackles can. That's the most important position against North Dakota State. They can completely dominate that game by being fast and refusing to get cut off in that zone scheme blocking that they have.
Love it.
Perfectly said.
I think just for me, in terms of what they could improve on from tonight, between now and then, that'll be important, is just protecting Shedeur.
Oh,
That's
100%.
important.
Yeah.
That's definitely important.
Because, you know, that's going to be, I think everyone's game plan until you prove you can do it another way is rush the passer and get Shedeur off of his game.
Yep.
And it worked for the last 8 teams that played us last year.
Yeah, the same thing we're saying about North Dakota State, that we want them to do what they don't want to do and pass. That's what teams are going to say about Colorado.
Yep.
We want to make them do what they don't want to do, and that's run.
Yep.
So you have to protect Shedeur and be able to run the ball.
I Am Water Guy says, who are the players who got sacks?
So through my notes, I have 4 for Taje. Someone else mentioned 5. I have 1 for BJ Green, 1 for Tawfiq Thomas.
Arden had a couple.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I have 1 written down for Arden. You got to understand, too, it's hard. You know, I was trying to chart as much as I possibly
It's
could.
almost impossible.
But sometimes there's just a pile of jerseys, and
Yeah.
you're like, who came out with it? Like,
Well, especially field level when they're like going away from you. It's like,
Yeah.
right.
You can't
like,
see what's going on.
yeah. Is
someone
that it
also
then?
asked about Draylon Miller. He had a couple of really nice plays.
He did. Yep.
And had another similar to Omarion, where he had a catch in the end zone, but he was out of bounds. So it didn't count.
Yep.
But it was still a great catch.
Thrift asked, will Kahlil be back for game 1? We are expecting Kahlil Benson back for week 1. Yes.
Yep.
Yep, he was fully dressed tonight.
Yep. How was Jordan Seaton tonight? He got a lot of reps. He had a couple penalties. He lost a few times. Again, this is a true freshman, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think people need to give him some grace
Yes.
Absolutely.
as a true freshman, as talented as he is. And the talent flashes all the time. But it's going to take a while for that talent to just be second nature easy for him. And so he's going to make mistakes. It's just going to happen.
I mean, Colorado has good defensive ends.
Yeah.
So he's coming straight out of high school, playing high school players. No matter how good the high school players that he was playing against, they're not Sam Okunlola.
Yeah.
They're not Dayon Hayes at this point. So it's a learning curve, but nothing that I've seen from him is unexpected or worrisome.
Sheesh, we're at 900 likes.
Let's go. Crush that like
Love
button.
it.
That
Get
is
those
crazy
up.
for a show that started at 9:45
Yeah.
p.m. Let's get to 1,000 for sure.
Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the podcast and Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Subscribe to this guy over here, too.
Yeah,
And you're
Buffed and
on,
Prime.
like podcast app and stuff now, too,
Yeah,
right?
CT's working on that, but
Okay.
yeah, Buffed and Prime. We're on all platforms. You can just search Buffed and Prime and check us out.
Andre asked, is it also possible that the issues with the offensive line also stem from the D-line knowing them so well at this point in camp? I'm sure that plays a role.
Yeah, I think it has an effect.
This is the hardest thing about watching a practice like this or any practice ever is one side good or is the other side bad? Like, until you could actually go through and watch each rep and focus in on each guy, you don't know if did he take a false step and get beat,
Exactly.
or did the other guy just set him up because he knows, like you said, he's done 1,000 reps against
Yep.
him in camp.
Yep.
He knows how to set him up at this point. So it's always the toughest thing. You know, you always want to take the optimistic view of it, but you never know until you actually can break it down.
Defense will always have the leg up
Mm-hmm.
early on in the season and camps as far as the same team. Defense is easier to install, quicker to install, and it's simpler. So they're able to
it's
get
more
things
instinctual,
going.
right?
Exactly. Versus offense, it's a really deep playbook. Cohesiveness matters on the D-line, but definitely not as much as it does on the O-line. Only way you can become more cohesive as a unit is continued reps. So as those continue to happen, it'll get better for sure.
And you never stop installing on offense.
No.
And I'm sure you're still installing stuff in defense too, but there's going to be several times a week where the offense is doing something for the first time out there against the defense that they've been running all camp.
Exactly.
Oh, my gosh. What does that say? Sorry.
Just I don't know.
Tight ends.
No, just the
The
name.
name.
We're trying to get the name.
Yeah.
Demysticals?
You got it.
I don't know.
DG is what I'm calling them. Tight ends, they ask. So Coach Pollock came on the pod yesterday. He said Sam Hart was dealing with an injury. He did go out there and play. He was in the slot. I think you mentioned that.
Yep. Saw him out in the slot a good amount of times, which I like to see because that means that they believe he's a receiving threat,
Yes.
a true receiving threat.
Savell got a lot of work too, though. Morgan Pearson had a few catches. Pretty encouraging performance, I think, from the tight ends overall.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited about Savell after listening to what Coach Pollock said yesterday on the show.
Ian Rowland asked, did Rayyan Buell stand out to you tonight, T-Cal?
Every time I see him play, he was disruptive. He had what looked like it was a tackle for loss, and then looked like he let up off the running back because he wasn't sure if he was supposed to tackle him or not. But Rayyan is another guy that is really good against that fast flow scheme, which is the zone scheme, which Colorado ran tonight. That's what North Dakota State runs. So yeah, he looked really good. Yeah, he's another one that people don't know how good he is, but they're gonna see. I have him predicted for 3 tackles for loss week 1.
Let's go.
What's up, Buffs News Weekly? What up? Glad T-Cal made it to Denver. Was worried there for a bit. Who's a player that quietly had a good night? We've hit on like 30 players at this point.
Yeah.
I'll throw out Tawfiq Thomas, though, actually.
Okay.
I thought he made some nice plays.
I'll put in a name that we haven't said yet, Omarion Miller.
Great night.
Yeah.
Great
Almost
night.
had the catch of the night.
Yeah.
Over years, even.
A dunk for sure.
Yeah.
Over mine.
And somebody that I love, Braden Keith. Like, I know people are like, he's a walk-on. I'm telling you, I've been saying it forever. And then you saw Coach Prime, I think today, say when he was coaching them, there's not much more that he can tell them as far as tech. Like, he is so hard to get defensive backs to be that technically sound. I remember watching him in the summer. Will Sheppard had a few catches on him that people were really excited about. And I said, yeah, I'm excited. Like, I love seeing Will ball, but do you see the kid guarding him? Like, his hand is on the ball almost every time.
Yep.
Like,
You can't get mossed if you're not in the frame.
Exactly. So he's always in good position. I think he is a hell of a ball player. Same with 36 Nathaniel Watson. Like him a lot, too.
Yep. 36 Mafia.
Yeah, like him a lot.
All right. To Super Chats we go. What's up, DJ Flame to you? What's up, gents? Maybe y'all can help me. I don't understand why everybody's so obsessed with when the new uni's coming out. I want wins. Unis are just an added bonus.
This is always a funny debate because I'm a big unis guy. So I understand where you're coming from, but it's just an exciting thing. I don't know. It's like it's how they're going to look out there. It's, it's
Something
the
new.
identity of your team. Yeah, exactly. And it's something new. So at this point, it probably has been beaten into the ground just because no one has any idea when we're going to see it. And if we learned anything from last year from Coach Prime, it's just he's just going to reveal it when the game starts.
Yep.
But I get why everyone's excited about it, just because that's how your squad is identified, is by their uniforms.
Yeah, I hope it's a better reveal than Oregon's. All of Oregon's uniforms look the exact same to me. They put this new name on it, but it looks like the exact same uniform. And I liked their uniforms last year, but I know Coach Prime didn't have the time he wanted to be able to really sit and implement his design. So I'm excited about it, but I agree. I'm excited about wins too.
Yes.
Hambadge says, DNVR After Dark, Buff Nation season ready. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
There's some people downstairs that would want to watch DNVR After Dark.
Are there people down there still?
Yes.
Is that us?
Yes.
I didn't even realize that. I did not realize that.
Dude says T-Cal in the building. Hell
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
Appreciate you, dude. Harmonized visuals just with the straight 199, and another one that says we are going to need this ran back. Eyeball emoji.
Hell yeah.
Let's make it happen.
We'll definitely have to go on again.
Mr. Hillsman with a massive super chat of $50. A shout out to all the DNVR folks behind the scene as
Yes.
always.
Big shout out to Alyssa,
Yes.
who had to
y'all
come in
fancy,
to work
man.
at 9:45 on a Saturday.
They got
Or
cameras
Friday.
everywhere. The cameras getting panned. I love it.
Yep.
This is awesome.
Hell yeah.
Shout out Alyssa. She was waiting for us for a little bit.
Yep.
Too.
Also, we got to be up tomorrow. We're working tomorrow.
Don't remind me.
I forgot.
Top secret work mission tomorrow.
This is a new one. The video will match our words come August 29th. Thank you, Harmonized Visuals. Appreciate you. And another one. I heard the new kicker is half robot. Alexander Stoyanovich. Is that who we're talking about?
I don't know. I didn't hear that though. By the way, Mata, good night.
Yes.
Didn't get mentioned.
He kicked, you're right. He had a 46-yarder, and it looked like it was good over 50.
That's
which was
big.
Good. Yeah, good to see him.
He actually, Scott put out a video of that. Mata quote tweeted it and said, actually 50-yarder. So he wants it known.
Awesome.
Cases says, please ask T-Cal if he would entertain being an official scout for CU. I think Coach Prime would at least listen to the idea.
Some type of remote situation, possibly. But, man, I just like talking ball, like being a fan. This is fun for me.
Hell yeah.
I love it.
94's Finest says at JSU, Savion had 1,000 yards while Shedeur threw for over 4K. People who think they don't want to run didn't watch at JSU. They just couldn't run last year. That changes everything. 100% well said.
Did Shedeur throw for 4,000?
I'll look it up.
I think so. He had some gaudy numbers.
All right, I'll read the next one.
Yeah.
Jovan says, for TCal, who are your most under-the-radar players to watch for CU and why?
Most under the radar, let's see. Let me go back to my list. Some of them are freshmen, which is tough because I'm not sure if they'll end up redshirting. But Cam Michael and Brandon Hood have really stood out to me. Shane Cokes is one that I've talked about because people have this bad taste in their mouth, which is not true because Shane can really ball. And I think he's really going to surprise people with how he plays this year. Another one, I think Carter Stoutmire's going to have a really good season. And it's not underrated, but I think Will Sheppard's just shown me a different skill set than what I thought that he had. So I think he's going to be better than what I expected from seeing his film and from even what the biggest fans already expect.
And when we talked to Coach Phil last week, he mentioned something about strong hands and contested catches and just how physical you have to be as a wide receiver in the SEC. And that was so apparent tonight. I mean, when that ball's up there, he has a different type of aggressiveness than you're seeing from your average wide receiver.
Yep. Harmonized visuals again.
My goodness, there are so many super chats.
Who do you have starting in the secondary based off today's practice? It'd be just taking Colton off and putting Travis in. So DJ, Shiloh, Cam, Preston, Travis.
I would switch Colton and DJ, but that's probably all that I'd change right now.
Okay.
Great.
What's up, Charlie? How many games will it take for the O-line to develop cohesion since they haven't played an actual game together?
It's $1 million question.
Yep.
Yeah, there's no exact answer on that. Could be week 1, could be week 6. The key, if it is later in the season, is just getting through those early weeks with wins. Because if you can get through the early weeks with wins, then when you really start to click, then you hit your peak and can get rolling. But if you hit your peak late and you have some losses early on, then it's hard to really get that momentum back rolling.
Well, and the reason why it's not possible to answer is because literally everyone's different. Perfect example is this right here.
Yeah.
The three of us have never done this together. Yeah. If we did it again tomorrow, it would be better.
Yeah.
We'd be cleaner and we would have more chemistry. So it's like.
It does look like they're loving it, though. I'm not going to lie. It looks like they're loving it.
No, I'm not trying to say it hasn't been good. I'm just saying, it's every combination of people and everything is different just based on who they are and what each guy's, strengths and weaknesses are.
Yeah, if you just rotate one lineman in, that completely changes the dynamic, and then it's kind of like starting from scratch in a sense.
94's Finest again. First 3 weeks, I think we get at least 10 sacks combined. I'm more focused on week 2 and 3. Husker and CSU fans have been doing too much talking.
Bro, I can't remember if I've said this on the show yet, but this is the first time in my entire life that Nebraska fans care more about CU than CU cares about Nebraska. And it is a beautiful thing.
That's awesome.
It's so apparent, too.
It is such a beautiful thing. And, they might deny that forever, but forever they pretended like they didn't really care about CU. It's like, you're just our secondary rival. Oklahoma is our real rival is what they used to say. Now it's like, I saw some fan blog of theirs did a poll, and it was like, what game do you want to win the most? It was 78% of Nebraska fans said they would rather beat CU than Ohio State.
It's a Super Bowl. It's a Super Bowl.
Everybody's Super Bowl.
FPSD says, let's go TCal on deck. Can't wait for the first game. How were the RBs? We already dug into them and gave all our thoughts on those guys, but appreciate the super chat, FPSD. Roy in the chat says, Buffton Prime in the house, baby.
What's up, Roy?
Thank you for the super chat, Roy. Appreciate you, man. Lawrence, what's up? From a recruiting perspective, did you see local Denver high school coaches and players on the field? Good to see CBS and Coach Prime. Thoughts on Ian Massey? We got Ian Massey thoughts. From I don't know.
I did see a couple local recruits. I also saw a couple Denver Broncos. I saw multiple Broncos coaches. You had the Packers in town because they're doing joint practices with the Broncos.
Oh.
So there was a lot going on out there.
Goldberg was here.
Yeah, Goldberg's there.
He drove Uncle Neely to practice. By the way, did you hear that story from him?
No.
Yeah, Goldberg drove Uncle Neely to the practice
Tonight?
Yes,
That's hilarious.
He said he's got a whole video of it in the car, just talking to Goldberg. Like,
It's funny because I was talking to someone on the sidelines and like I was never like a wrestling guy. I don't know why, but they were so excited about Goldberg being there, and I was like, this might be offensive to you, but I'm more excited that David Shaw is here.
yeah, for sure. Cases again. Can we look forward to a TCal DNVR and Uncle Neely for a post game show sometime soon?
Well, we have post games going on at Buffton Prime, but in the future we may be able to
collab for sure.
Yeah, may be able to collab for sure.
I'm gonna try to convince him to come out for a game.
There you go.
Yeah, we'll see.
What'd you think of Denver?
I think it's an awesome city. I think if I had the money to live here, I think it'd be a fun city to live in. Love that Whole Foods. Looked like a mall. Looked awesome. So yeah, I like it here.
Hell yeah.
Love it. Mr. Hillsman again. Just noticed the hoodie TCal. You a troll? LMAO.
No, I'm not a troll, man. It's TCal knows. Y'all know what it is. I'm kind of trolling Rico, but you know how that went down.
Oh God. I'm gonna get a shirt of me making that one-handed catch for the next show.
That'll be dope.
94's finest again. I misspoke. Not 4K yards, but 3,200 while missing 2 games. Yeah, so that's what it is.
Okay.
Shedeur's most productive season as a passer was in 2022, 3,383 yards, 36-6.
We're going over that this year.
Yeah, for sure.
100% agree.
Except interceptions, but
Yep.
the other one.
Mike says it's a beautiful thing when the white and black man come together. LOL, Scope Buffs. Appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate it, Mike.
For me, it's about just content creators coming together.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I've always said that I don't think this is a zero-sum game, meaning no one has to choose between whether they watch our content or his content.
Definitely.
So many of you, as we're seeing tonight, watch both. And so there's no reason that we shouldn't collaborate and hype each other's shit up and, continue to just help each other grow.
Absolutely.
Hello, Laura. How are you? She says, more of Buffton Prime / DNVR, please. Also, check out the replay of Juju's punt. Juju punted tonight.
Pooch punt?
Pooch punt, yeah.
Thanks for the late show, guys. No problem.
Appreciate it, Laura.
Appreciate you.
Trey says, DNVR Buffton Prime, it's lit.
Trey, what's good, fam?
Thank you, sir. Coach K with a big one.
Dang.
Shout out DNVR for bringing the GOAT TCal to the show and FDP for working late nights.
Hey, appreciate you, Coach K.
Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Coach K. Thanks to everyone watching.
Yeah, absolutely.
Charlie Moe, TCal has been on the number 30 and 36 hype train for a while. # tampering. I have no idea what those emojis are.
Absolutely. Yeah, because I say all the time on our show, just from seeing how good they are technique-wise, if I'm a college coach at another school and I see them, like, I'm tampering. I'm going to start sending them little message, commenting on their Instagram pics, because they can play and not just – they're like, I know people heard Coach Prime give Nathaniel Watson the nickname 3-6 Mafia. I was like, that's just he's just hyping them up. No, like, they can really play. So yeah, if I was in a coaching position, I'm risking the penalty. I'm trying to get some guys like that on my team.
Well, and why am I blanking on the walk-on corner from last year?
Israel Solomon?
Israel?
Yes.
Baller.
Yes.
Where did he end up?
I don't know.
Not sure, but that's the best trio of walk-ons I've seen in my life.
Yeah.
Like, corners, like, that is Israel could really play. He impressed me watching him against LeJontay. Like, again, people are hyping up LeJontay's catch. I love LeJontay, but I'm a DB, so I'm looking at how the DB's playing. And patient, great technique, squeezes to the hip, great, gets in phase, looks back, just really good player.
I agree, man. He was one of my favorite players, I think, overall on the team before he left. Unfortunately, I don't think he's found a team, and I think he's kind of stuck in the portal right now.
Come home.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's crazy to me, because if he sent me his film and I'm a coach at even a group of 5 school, I'm giving him a shot. I'm giving him a shot for sure.
That's it.
All right.
That was fun.
That was awesome, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, appreciate you, brother.
All right, man. I appreciate you guys having me on. The food was fantastic.
Hell yeah.
I got the Southwest wrap. Delicious. I know my wife's in there. I ate healthy. So, yeah, it was really good. Really good. But, yeah, no, I appreciate you guys having me on. It was fun.
This is awesome, man. Thanks everyone who watched. Thanks for all the super chats. You guys are amazing. Over 1,100 likes. You guys loved this and you made yourselves heard, and we heard you. So appreciate you for coming on. Appreciate Alyssa for staying up late with us. We'll see you guys Monday.
We have a few more super chats last minute. Lawrence says, shout out to the Charlie clips of C-Ball T-Cal.
Hey, did you get that for me? Please tell me you got that. So RB is Rap Battle, Rare Breed Entertainment. Charlie Clipson, one of my favorite battle rappers of all time. He said he's going to hook me up with a shout out. Really hope that happened because that would be so dope.
Love it. And then Regina with just the $9.99 super chat. Thank you. We'll be back Monday. We got a lot to get into. There's a lot that's actually happened since you were gone. Some stuff that happened today, too, besides the scrimmage that cannot wait to talk about.
All right.
See you guys then. Go Buffs.
Go Buffs.
We all silly like the mayor.